So hello everybody, welcome to this training. I'm going to talk in this video about what are the signs of being stuck in survival. So let me know you can hear me, let me know you can see me. So being in survival mode, fight, flight, freeze, puts your body in a state of stress, and it's hard for your body to heal when you are in that state. This can be a result of stress or trauma, and it can manifest in both physical ways and psychological ways. So I'm going to share 22 signs that you are in survival mode and surviving rather than thriving. I started with 17, but I kept adding to the list. So let me know which ones resonate. Maybe you can put the number in the chat. Donna says hi. Hi, Donna. So if you're in survival mode, then you are more likely to experience one or more of the following. The first one is insomnia, difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep due to stress, anxiety, racing thoughts. This makes sense if you consider our ancestors. It wouldn't make sense for them to fall into deep, refreshing sleep if there was some threat, for instance, a saber-toothed tiger prowling in the area. Okay. Second thing, constant fatigue. Feeling tired, obviously if you're not sleeping well, that is going to be one reason why you're experiencing fatigue, and I'll talk about some more in a moment. But this is related to prolonged stress because the stress mechanism is supposed to be a short-term thing rather than an ongoing issue. Third thing is energy production issues. When we're in that state of stress, producing energy is not a vital function. Actually using energy is. So energy production gets suppressed. The fourth thing is digestive issues. People experience digestive problems like stomach aches, irritable bowel syndrome due to stress. We're more likely to get ulcers if we have prolonged stress. So the digestive system is not working properly. The nutrients aren't getting digested properly. So what that means is that nutrients aren't getting to the cells, and that exacerbates fatigue, and that exacerbates problems related to energy production. You also get changes in appetite. People eating habits change. It might be overeating, undereating. When I had CFS, I was overeating because I was hungry a lot because my digestive system wasn't working properly. So the digestive system is not optimized. Fifth sign is frequent illness. For some people, a weakened immune system results in more frequent colds, flus, etc. But for others, because their immune system is on overdrive, at least initially, they experience less of those things. So the sixth sign is anxiety and fear, nervousness, when the body is in survival mode, because it is primed for fight, flight, and if we're in that state, then there's a lot of hormones coursing around our body. This can result in shallow breathing, and taking shallow breaths can contribute to those feelings of anxiety and tension. And it can also result in constant worrying excessively about future, our situation, our finances, for example, or our basic needs. This can result in number 7, that we feel on edge. We feel a sense of restlessness, edginess, irritability, agitation, frustration. We can be triggered by minor stressors, either other people, the news, events, because we're in that heightened state of arousal. Consider that. Have you ever done that? Overreacted to a situation when you're in a state of stress? I know I have. And it can affect our thinking and our mindset. So number 8 is that we are more prone to catastrophic thinking. So frequently imagining worst case scenarios for various situations. So Donna says no to 5. Is that a no to? Are you saying just 5 so far? I think that's what you mean. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. So yeah, catastrophic thinking. In survival mode, the clever thinking part of the brain is suppressed because we need to be more reactive, and that is good in terms of being in a threatening situation, less good if we're in situations where we need to have a cooler head. So that can result in people saying things that they later regret. Okay, so number 9, focusing on things that you can't control. So remember the serenity prayer. Grant me the courage to change the things I can, to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So number 10 is the 10th sign of being in survival mode is pessimism, developing a consistently negative outlook on life and future prospects. Number 11 is difficulty concentrating, finding it hard to concentrate on tasks due to a preoccupation with survival concerns. And that can also result in more kind of firefighting. If we're not dealing with things as they arise, then we end up having to be reactive to circumstances. So 12th sign is self-blame, being hard on yourself, being self-critical, treating yourself in ways that you wouldn't treat other people. Okay, and that's actually a really useful way of looking at that kind of behaviour. Would I treat other people like this? What are my values around the way I believe people should be treated? Because if we believe that people should be treated with respect, we have to apply that to ourselves. Okay, so the next thing, 13th sign, is neglect of self. Okay, so this could be poor diet, drinking, engaging in routines that are not supporting our healing. Okay, so it might be not doing some relaxation, staying up late. So seeking comfort activities and activities that kind of distract us from what we're experiencing over self-care activities. Okay, so seeking comfort activities over self-care activities. 14th point, 14th sign is hypervigilance, constantly being on alert, scanning the environment for potential threats. If there isn't a threat, thinking, oh, it's only a matter of time until another threat shows up. 15th sign is lack of self-validation, not valuing your thoughts, opinions, emotions, feelings. And this can result in the 16th sign, which is difficulty in decision making, struggling to make decisions, even minor ones, maybe from the fear of getting it wrong, knowing that's going to lead to more self-criticism and more stress. 17th sign, this results in feeling hopeless and powerless, okay? Believing things won't improve and that there's no way out of this current situation. I was coaching someone this week who was kind of describing that. And so we kind of looked at some strategies for that. So 18th sign, emotional numbness. All of the above can result in kind of becoming, because we're feeling hopeless and powerless, we become emotionally detached or numb as a coping mechanism for dealing with stress. 19th sign, neglect of hobbies and interests. So losing interest in things that maybe you had passion for previously, that these are things that bring you joy, kind of get you out of yourself. And one of the reasons why people go to work, people have hobbies, is to get out of their head and to actually engage in things that actually give them a sense of connection with the outside world, a sense of the ability to develop skills, etc. It's understandable if you have a health condition like ME, CFS, fibromyalgia, long COVID, that if you're not able to do those things, then that is going to be more challenging, because it's therefore easier to actually spend more time in our head thinking about things. And that's, as I say, that's why people go to work, because it keeps them occupied. Okay, it gives them something to focus on. So 20th sign, social isolation, withdrawing from social interactions and relationships due to stress and anxiety, not reaching out to others or asking for help, or feeling that you have nothing to offer. So the 21st sign is avoidance of, that relates to the previous statement, avoiding situations or responsibilities because they might feel overwhelming and triggering. And the 22nd sign is that it's not for everybody, but there can be a lot of drama. Gabor Mate says, where there is drama, there is trauma. Okay, so I invite you to just consider which of those ones do you recognize. And I also invite you to think, well, if you write down those things that particularly resonate, do go through this video again if you need to, then what are some strategies that you can come up with? And if, just brainstorm, see what you can come up with. If you're not sure, maybe you could ask in a Facebook group. This is one of my signs that I'm in survival mode. Anyone got any ideas? So Silver Moon says, I struggle with social isolation myself. So sorry to hear that. Okay. What about other people? I know there's other people watching. So, I see what you're saying. Donna's saying all except 5. All right. So sorry to hear that. But, feel free. You don't have to share if you don't want to, but I'd be interested to know which ones resonate. So as I've said, being in survival mode is a response to stress. It is an attempt to stay safe and protect yourself. And all these signs can vary in intensity and duration. There were times when my anxiety was highly elevated and I didn't feel like I could see the end of the tunnel, or the light at the end of the tunnel. But I did learn how to shift out of those states, and I, learn how to be much calmer, have a much stronger sense of I am safe, and have a greater sense of trust. So that raises the question, how do we go from being in fight, flight, freeze, to activating the parasympathetic healing state? So in order to understand that, the work of Dr. Stephen Porges, a neuroscientist and researcher, is very helpful. He developed Polyvagal Theory. So just let's go to the slides and let's have a quick look at what he's talking about. So Polyvagal Theory is based on the idea that the autonomic nervous system has 3 distinct branches, and each are associated with different evolutionary stages and responses. So first of all, there's the dorsal vagal complex, and this is the oldest and most primitive part of the autonomic nervous system, and it's responsible for those immobilization conservation behaviors. So the freeze response or the flop response, when activated, can lead to immobilization, collapse, or fainting responses. Then there's the sympathetic nervous system, okay? And this is associated with fight flight. It prepares the body for action in response to threats, either real or perceived. And this branch is essential for mobilizing the body's resources during stress. And I make that distinction between real and perceived because unfortunately for humans, we can train ourselves to be conditioned to perceive things as threats. For instance, having symptoms which, although unpleasant for most people most of the time, are not dangerous. Okay, they're not pleasant, but they're not dangerous. Okay, so the sympathetic nervous system is essential for mobilizing the body's resources. And then the third branch, which is the most recent evolutionary addition to the autonomic nervous system, is the ventral vagal complex. Okay, and this is associated with social engagement and relaxation. So when we're in that state, we're more able to enjoy social interactions, emotional regulation, have a sense of safety, be able to relax. Okay, helps us connect with others and adapt to social situations. The polyvagal theory suggests that the ventral vagal complex is the optimal state for human functioning and well-being. So ideally we want to be in that state as much as is possible. Now, we are always going to come out of that state because, for instance, if you go for a run, that's going to activate your sympathetic arousal. Obviously, there are many people with ME/CFS who can't do that, but that's just an example. Okay, if we're doing physical activity, but you know, being in those states, fight, flight, dorsal, freeze state, a lot of the time, as I said at the beginning, is going to hinder our body's attempts to heal. So in another video I'll do probably next week, I'll talk about how we make that shift from being, actually let's just show you another slide, from being in the dorsal freeze response, fight, flight response, into that ventral vagal healing state. So I'm going to pause there, but maybe we'll end with a brief relaxation if you'd like that. Just give me a yes in the chat. If you've got any comments, questions, pop them in the chat also. I'll take a drink because I've been chatting for 17 minutes without a pause. So let me know if you'd like a brief relaxation. Just pop a yes in the chat. Okay, got a yes. All right, so I invite you to close your eyes as long as it's safe and as long as that feels comfortable for you. I invite you just to focus on your breath if that's comfortable. If not, you could just focus on a part of the body. For instance, you could focus on your right foot. And as you breathe in through your nose, as long as that's comfortable, breathing in the oxygen, breathing in the relaxation, breathing into your belly, and as you breathe out, allowing your out breath to be a little bit longer than the in breath. Because when we do that, it activates the parasympathetic response, the healing state. So as you breathe in, you might imagine your breath as a colour. Breathing in that colour. Seeing it going into your lungs. Seeing it oxygenating the blood and the blood circulating around your body. Sending nourishment to every cell in your body. Picking up any toxins or waste products to be filtered out of the blood. And as you breathe out, just allowing your mind and body and physiology to relax and let go. The right amount for you. Again, breathing in the oxygen. Imagine, have that sense that as you breathe in, that colour is just helping to relax and nourish your body. As you breathe out, just letting go of anything that right now you don't need. So once more, take a breath in, breathing into your belly and finding your own rhythm. Just breathe out, allowing your mind and body to relax. As I say, I invite you just to find your own rhythm and invite you to consider that taking pauses during your day, even if it's just for a minute, maybe if you find yourself a little bit activated, maybe you're doing something in a hurry, you could just pause for 1 minute. A coach I worked with a while back called Brian Johnson said that his goal is to meditate for, I think, 30 minutes a day. And he says, if I can't meditate for 30 minutes a day, I'll meditate for 5 minutes a day. If I'm too busy to meditate for 5 minutes, I'll meditate for 1 minute. He said, if I really felt too busy to meditate for a minute, I could just take a breath. But my sense is that he makes time to just pause and connect and slow down. What would it be like to do that 5 times a day, just for 1 minute? What difference would that make? Consider by doing that, you're training yourself to do that more. You're training your mind and body and physiology to recognize that when you do pause, it's a signal for you to just ground and center yourself. And that's going to help activate the parasympathetic nervous system response. So when you're ready, I invite you to bring yourself back. If you'd like a really simple technique to help you quieten your mind that people find useful to use just in the day for a minute or two. I've had clients who've told me that they find it difficult to relax, and we've done that exercise just for 1 minute. And they report, the vast majority of them say they feel more relaxed after doing it for just 1 minute. So if you'd like that free technique, just put the word time in the chat and I will share the link. If you've got any questions, if you'd like to know more about the work I do, if you'd like to know how you can get a free 15-minute session where we'll identify some sticking points and some actions that you can take, just put the word strategy in the chat. Currently I offer 3 of these sessions every week at the time of recording this video. So for now, I'll say thanks for watching. Keep going, you've got this. Wishing you great health. Bye for now.